We're at the final moment here, and Jedediah, I wanted to bring you up to the stage and have you present for us your project and what's going on in the world that you live in.
So, last talk before drinks. My name's Judah Thornewill. I'm, among other things, a professor at the University of Louisville, a serial entrepreneur, and a group of 10 of us have been working directly for about 6 months, 9 months, and indirectly for a number of years on what we're about to show you. Can you all hear me okay? Just out of curiosity, how many of you are interested in the geek aspect of this? How many are interested in the business aspect of this? How many are interested in something else? Like what? Well, look, she made the mistake of raising her hand. Anyway, feel free to answer if you want, or entertainment, that's good. How does this work? Cool. So I'll try to weave in a little geek and a little business. The problem we're solving, I'm sure everyone has been aware in the last month about the privacy concerns with Facebook, and a couple of notions. One, that all of our data, our personal data about our families, our networks, our money, our social patterns, and all kinds of other much more detailed data is these days being managed and built by companies like Facebook or Google, and that data is becoming incredibly valuable. And it's being used to deliver personalized everything, personalized ads, personalized products, personalized services, and where we're going with smart cars and smart homes and smart fridges is our personal data is going to drive the entire economy, if you think about it. And so we've been asking a fundamental question for actually some years, but quite immediately, how's this going to end up? Who should actually control the data about all of us, especially when you think about it, that the more the data is combined in one integrated package about each of us, the more valuable it is, right? So we're seeing this pattern you see here happening right now. The entire global digital economy is trying to shift to personalization. Companies everywhere are doing everything they can. They're spending billions of dollars to get control of more personalized, detailed data about each of us. And meanwhile, they're doing a terrible job at it generally because of one, privacy concerns, and two, it's just really hard to gather all the data from many different places because the amounts of data are growing exponentially. So on the consumer side, people, you have another kind of pain, which is, hey, what's happening with my data? I don't like who's using it. I don't know who's using it. I'm not happy with the way things are going. So that's the problem that we're addressing. The solution has a few elements, but basically what we're doing is creating a new blockchain-based technology that for the first time will allow individuals to own and control their own data in their own digital lockbox. And by the way, the lockbox itself is not in blockchain because there's too much data and it's too dynamic right now. But the share keys and the encryption codes for unlocking the data in the lockboxes is in blockchain. And we are in the process of filing a patent on a specific methodology for integrating the non-blockchain and blockchain parts of a highly scalable lockbox architecture that is decentralized for solving this problem. The second part of the market is if you're starting to build these kinds of large-scale data stores, how do you do the money? Because it's really valuable. And so our second innovation is organizations can bid or put in offers to access our data. And this is the key innovation. In this marketplace, think like eBay or Uber. Each of these companies gave individuals a way to take an asset individuals own and turn it into money. Your car, your house, right? To date, no one's figured out a systematic, scale way to let individuals control and own all of their own data and turn that into money. This marketplace model does that by allowing organizations to put in bids or offers to access your complete profile or whatever part you choose to share. And the better the profile gets, the more valuable it is, and the more you may be able to charge for it if you wish to charge for it. Or you maybe wish to give it to your doctor for free. It's your choice. That's the core idea that we're working on. Since we're a small group, any questions so far? Make sense? Yeah, so it's a great question. So we come out of the healthcare space, our team, healthcare and public health, which is the most complicated, difficult data in the economy. And so that is not true for healthcare data. It has about a 12-month half-life, and it's got to continually be updated. Secondly, the data itself, think about genomics. You know, even if Facebook has your genome today, the genome technologies are changing it. Two years from now, that technology and the data encoded in it is going to change. So actually, it's quite a dynamic model, but that makes the point is, as this data gets better and better and better, and it's unbelievable what's happening, should companies own and control that without us knowing what they're doing with it, like Facebook was doing? Of course not. So it's logical that we should have infrastructure that allows people to own and control their own data, and that just does not exist today. So that's where we're moving. This would be, we are envisioning this as a new kind of, or we and others, a new kind of fundamental infrastructure for the global economy. Just like, you know, we all go onto Google for search, and search became a new utility. This is a new utility. You should own your own data and have a way to manage it through a lifetime. And probably you'll end up with several competing companies doing this. But like other businesses like this, we think there will only be a few, because the investment is massive, and they have to interoperate. It has to work seamlessly across different contexts. Make sense? So that's the basic idea. This is technologically, the actual data structures are really hard. The blockchain part, though, it adds this incredibly important element that we think makes this possible now. Number one, it creates truly auditable trails of who's using what data when. And number two, it creates the ability to create a token economy to drive, and our model is, the model we've been scaling is about 10 billion tokens, and the tokens actually are proxies for dollars, but that's every buy-sell transaction is essentially a smart contract driven by tokens. And so we think it scales very nicely and becomes, to put an order of magnitude, we think in a few years, just based on conservative assumptions, this will be worth $200 to $400 per person per year. You multiply that by 100 million people or 1 billion people, and that's the kind of scale that the tokens, the number and management of the tokens need to support that level of transactions. And a lot of these are microtransactions, $1 here, $1 there. Make sense? Which is also, I heard the discussion around what kind of blockchain can support these high volume transactions we're looking at that very closely, and we'll have to be using the next gen that's coming out right now, because this is a transactional volume that would look a lot more like a Visa. And right now, the blockchain platforms that exist generally won't support that throughput, at least in close to real time. How much time do I have left?
As long as you can keep.
I just want to. I don't want to. I just want to not bore anyone. So would it help to quickly go through the rest of these?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So we've been self-funded to date. We're raising a seed round now. I'm not making an investment pitch to any of you because I'm not supposed to. But if anyone is an investor, we would and knows what the heck we're talking about, we would love to talk to you. We're looking for smart strategic investors. We're raising traditional equity money right now, followed by a crypto round in the next 3 or 4 months. We're being very, very cautious because of what SEC is doing about how we structure it. And we think that the laws are going to rapidly change, and we want to not get on the wrong side of that deal. We've got some robust core technologies in place, including, importantly, the ability to manage and store sophisticated health record data, which is where we're starting, which is particularly valuable. Our go-to-market, we're actually starting right here in Kentucky because several of us are here, even though we've got a team around the country. And we're starting with a Medicaid, it's kind of anti-intuitive, but if you think about whose data is really valuable, lower income people with a lot of problems have very valuable data because you can do a lot with it to improve their economic and quality of life status. So like fascinatingly, this is made for people with problems or people with challenges. So we're actually starting where the money is with Medicaid populations in Kentucky as well as some other populations. Platform I've kind of talked about a little bit. We've done a preliminary competitive analysis just for sake of argument. There's a number of pieces that have to come together to make this work. We think we've thought through the major ones, including the blockchain and the tokens and the SEC compliance. We do not see even Google, Apple, Amazon, those big players competing in this. We do see them either partnering or feeling a little threatened, and we think it could very well be they could try to buy the for-profit part of this network down the road, but this is not their core business. Apple's hardware, Google search, and this really, if they played, this is highly disruptive because it literally takes the data that they're all building out of their hands and puts it in the hands of consumers who start charging for it. It's kind of a radical idea. It's also disruptive to a multi-billion-dollar incumbent data market. There's lots of people making a ton of money off our data, but we just think, if you think about it, it's just not right that everybody else gets money and individuals at best get to give their data away free for a few services. It's just not going to be cool in the future, especially when this data has this much power over your life. Our team, that's our team. Probably the one guy I'd mentioned I say this kind of jokingly, but it is a criticism. Do we have too many PhDs and MDs on our team? We actually are all sort of half business, half academic backgrounds, so we've got a good balance. But this requires some brain power to figure out the details. The one guy that I would point out is Bill Yasnov, MD, PhD, a computer scientist, PhD in pattern recognition as well as an MD, and one of the 4 or 5 most well-respected experts in healthcare technology and healthcare data in the country, and sort of very plugged in with the national federal networks as well. This is, by the way, also very much this is highly political when you get into healthcare data. So this is also all about how do we control our healthcare data, which is a $3.4 trillion economy in the U.S. alone right now, with comfortable estimates that we could get 10% efficiency with good data in healthcare alone. So just U.S. healthcare, you did do something like this right at scale, you're starting to look at, say, $300 billion, not that we capture all of it, but those are the kind of scale figures in terms of the way the economy is being impacted. So that's it. Happy to answer any questions.
Where do you go for more information?
Go to www.welriz.com, fill out forms, and talk to or get my card. I'm here in Louisville. One of our. Are you a Louisville or Kentucky guy? Okay. yeah, so our website and talk to me. We'd love to talk to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, definitely want to make sure that in the future, somebody besides the machines profits from that.